Good morning. Before we start, make sure to hit that like or subscribe button. Like and subscribe, not or subscribe. Does it cost anything? It's a great way to get this video shared and let your friends who talk basketball about this. Before we start, my name is Nathan. I try to upload a video every day. Usually I talk about basketball. Sometimes I talk about other things. Sometimes I talk about hockey. Sometimes I talk about my life in general. It came out today that the NBA season next year, so the 2020-21 season, is finishing up now. It's the Heat and the Lakers in the finals. The Heat are up. The Lakers are up 2-1. Sorry, I sometimes talk too fast than I think, or I think too fast than I talk. Either way, let me know in the comments. We'll be pushing back. It looks like January 1st, 2nd, around the beginning of January, and they want a full 82-game season. So today it came out that the league commissioner, Adam Silver, said we won't be going to the Olympics. It's very unlikely that we're going to go to the Olympics in the summer. The Olympics were supposed to be this year. They're next year because of the current situation. So what all that means is, where do you go? If you just look at the U.S. team, they now are going to be surprised of mostly college players. I'm not sure who you bring. Maybe you look at some guys that would be playing in the Big Three League, and you're bringing those guys in. Maybe one or two there. Maybe guys who would be retired and can still go. Maybe you bring in a bunch of college players, or maybe you go to your college players and go. Let me rephrase this. Maybe if you are thinking about making the NBA, but you want to play in the Olympics, just because you might never get another chance if you're a fringe Olympic player. So essentially, if you're a fringe Olympian, so you're maybe like not one of the best players in the world, but you're an Olympic, you're an NBA player, but you're not one of the best. A guy like who'd be coming up in the draft. Let's say LaMelo Ball. The first one that came to mind. I just found this out today. I just got up, been at work, and he's actually said he's not going to the draft. He's out at the combine and things like that. Now, I thought it could be meaning that he's going to play overseas for another year. Maybe he has some option, but maybe he's thinking he can become an Olympic team. That's maybe been something he's wanted to do. And as you get older and you're in the NBA, well, the U.S. is going to take the best players available. So LeBron will probably be there for another couple of years. It will probably be Curry, and he can't beat those guys. So he's going to go, well, I would love to play in, I make good money here in Australia. I own the team. I can play one more year here and play for the Olympics. That would be fun. Or maybe you get guys who are playing in college and they're going, I really want to go to the NBA, but yes, I could use the money, but maybe I'll go overseas if we can travel, play for a year overseas, and I'll go and try out for the Olympic team, and maybe I'll make it because I'm a good basketball player, but I'm not as good as LeBron, Jimmy Butler, or a million other U.S. basketball players. So maybe that happens. Maybe you get a more college team, or maybe you get some guys who are hanging out in Europe, and they're good enough to make the NBA, but they would get that call a week before training camp. Hey, we'd like to sign you. And if you have families, you got to make sure you secure that bag as fast as you can. If you have two small kids or a wife or what have you, or like a lot of bills, and you live in the U.S. and just play in Germany or Greece or in France or wherever, and they're going to offer you a bigger contract. Yeah, you've always wanted to play in the NBA, but you're a fringe free agent in the NBA. In Europe, in Eurobasket, you're a big free agent. That could happen. And maybe those guys, put up really good numbers in the Olympics and everyone's watching and they secure a contract in the NBA. Maybe a veteran minimum deal that might pay them $1 million, maybe $2 million. Not a lot, but hey, you get to play in the NBA. It's childhood dream. And what does that then do with the coaches? From a Canadian standpoint, because I live in Canada, I'm actually here in Halifax today. The Canadian men's national team head coach, sorry, I can't talk right now, is Nick Nurse of the Toronto Raptors. So, who did they get as assistant? Do they maybe bring in the gentleman at Ottawa University? Forgive me, I forget his name. I know he has coached. at the Olympic level. I believe he's coaching a qualifier. I believe he was the coach of the qualifier I saw in St. John's at mile one. I think it'll be fascinating. And then, not even talking about that, but the NBA has over 100 international players. So what do you do there? Like, what happens to Luka? Does Luka go just take a year off and go, I want to play in the Olympics for Spain? Or does Kristoff go, I'm going to play in Lithuania? Go over there and play. There's Jonas Valanciunas, Raptors legend, Jonas Valanciunas, that is, sit out a year and go, yeah, I want to. I love it here. I love it here in Memphis. You guys have been great for me. But man, as a kid, I saw the Olympics far more than I saw the NBA, and it'd be really special if I went and I played in the Olympics. I think that would be really fun. What does Giannis do? Like, does he go, nah, dog, really like that money, but I get to play for Greece. I'm going to go play for Greece. Um, could we see some players pluck from obscurity? Could we see a bunch of NCAA athletes go and playing for the Olympics before they go pro? Could we see that? Anyway, it'd be an interesting summer either way if the NBA goes to the Olympics or not. The best thing I can explain it to will be the Winter Olympics in South Korea, and the NHL didn't go. So Canada's team, Canadian. So I'm going to talk mostly about Canada. Canada's team was mostly a bunch of guys who were in the NHL at one point, but also went over to Europe because they just couldn't keep a job in the NHL, because the NHL you have to be some of the best players in the world, or you maybe get some junior guys in. You get guys who are just plying their trade over in Europe for a lot of years, and there's a lot of good players over in Europe. Guys from the KHL that came in, they brought in a pretty decent team. It didn't win a medal, but Canada's best players were in Canada. So this is what's going to happen to the U.S. It's probably going to happen to Canada as well, because a lot of good Canadian ballers are in the NBA. Is it going to be basically a Pan Am Game squad? A couple of years ago in Toronto, there was a Pan Am Games, and they didn't have a lot of NBA players show up, but they had some pretty good Europeans. I know from being in Newfoundland and watching the Edge had two players on that squad. It had Carl English was on that squad. He's actually from Newfoundland. I'm eventually going to do a video on Carl English on this channel. And Junior Kadukin plays overseas for a couple of years, played in the NBL for a long time. Went to Marquette, was teammates, I believe, with Jimmy Butler. Plays in the Elite League as well, the Summer League here in Canada. He's been doing it and just trying to pry his craft, playing basketball. Anyway, let me know what and even with the States, do you get Americans who maybe play in the lower league? Like, maybe they're not in the G League, maybe they're overseas, maybe they're in the NBL. You get guys like that playing. Or are the domestic leagues in Europe going to stop? That's the thing. If they're starting late as well, so I think they are they going to stop and let players play? You have a bunch of players playing in Euro Champions League and Eurobasket and every other Spanish league and European league in the world. Are they going to stop playing? Guys like, the first that comes to mind, just because I looked this up a few days ago, was Andy Roughton, Leo Roughton's son. Is he going to stop playing? Because the last time I checked, he was playing in Champions League. Now, this was a couple of years ago. But anyway, let me know what you think about this video. Hit like and subscribe. You can comment below what you think will happen. You all have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.